Once again, fandom. Once again. I know people hate it when people get on their high horse and stand on the box soap and say, I told you so, but I told you so. I completely told you so. Okay, now getting off that soapbox and back to down reality where I get my butt kicked, it's time for a RWBY review on episode 12, baby. And I have to say, there are two things in the show that really mattered the most in this episode. The first one is something some of us saw coming. The second one was we didn't see coming. And there's a lot of answers and a lot of questions that have been raised, and I probably do have the answer to those questions you might have. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now let's starting off with Jaune. After the last episode, we all knew Weiss got stabbed. A lot of people thought she was going to die, and of course she wasn't going to die because it will be kind of idiotic for her to die right now. But she has a main important role when it comes to the series itself. So of course where she got stabbed is it's critical but not life-threatening critical. It is bad but not very, very, very bad. First of all, looking at a diagram of the human body, where she got stabbed is pretty much where the pancreas is. And according to that, she can, in a way, live if she gets medical attention immediately. She can live through an injury like that. So Weiss wasn't in any true grave danger as people kept saying she was on those freaking chat forums. No, she was never really in that much danger. And plus, the reason for her to get this injury was for one purpose and one purpose alone, was to give confirmation on what most of us were correct about in the first place. Jaune's semblance. A lot of us knew Jaune's semblance was going to be showed in this volume, and we all knew that he was going to show it after Weiss was going to be on the verge of death. And of course, the semblance at the end of the day was healing. The thing about this is, years ago on my earlier reviews talking about Jaune's semblance, I said that it's going to be healing, and a lot of people didn't believe me for some idiotic reasons. But even though I did show proof about this, I'm going to explain why Jaune's semblance makes sense. First of all, in Volume 1, mainly Volume 1, actually only Volume 1, was only the proof that Jaune's semblance was already shown. So all those videos I see on YouTube saying we could have already seen Jaune's semblance, we don't know what it is, it was kind of obvious in the first volume. When Jaune meets up with Pyrrha in the forest to meet their new teammates, Pyrrha unlocked Jaune's aura. And when she did, he healed. I'm like, oh, that's his aura. Because nobody else in RWBY aura helps him heal. So, of course, that is his semblance. That was automatically a no-brainer. Then, finally, in Forever Fall, when Jaune was fighting against the Team Cardin, and he was fighting off the Ursa. He was, of course, got beat up by the Winchester guy a while back, and when he was fighting Ursa, his wounds healed. And as his wounds healed, he started fighting Ursa, and then, of course, Pyrrha helped him with that, but he took down Ursa. So, yes, Jaune's ability was healing for himself. For him, healing other people could be out there at a stretch, but I already knew that was the case, that he could heal other people. But it probably comes with a price. Him healing himself probably don't come much of a price, but a loss of aura. But however, him healing other people might come with a dangerous price. We don't know that. But as I said, this was kind of a no-brainer. So people did ask, okay, then why didn't he use his aura during the times of Volume 2, 3, and 4? One, he didn't realize he had it. He was just in the heat of the moment. And two, he didn't have that many life-threatening situations. He wasn't really that damaged. As you see in Volume 2, he wasn't really hurt that much to really use the semblance. Volume 3, he wasn't hurt that much to use the semblance. Same as Volume 4, other people around him were getting hurt, but not him. So he didn't know he had the semblance just yet. So because of that, he didn't need to use his semblance. So just right that, a lot of people knew about it. So yes, I was glad. Now in the next part of this episode, we're going to talk about RWBY and her way of how she became a leader. How she is a leader, but how she shows once again what a good leader she is, I meant to say. As Jaune is healing Weiss, she collects her thoughts, waking up, seeing her best friend on the ground, completely injured, not knowing what the heck happened. She is worried. Of course, someone like that should panic, like she did before. But instead of panicking all the way, she collected her thoughts, calmed herself, and think about what she has to do for the best of the situation. And what she did was brilliant. She told Jaune, of course, continue healing Weiss while having Nora protect him, and while Ren helps out Uncle Crow. And then we also had where she went to go help her sister out, which I was very glad that she decided to do that, because Yang was getting her butt handed to her by Mercury and Emerald, and they weren't even trying. So now hopefully it will even out the playing field a bit more. And that was great. Great part on you, RWBY. Congratulations. And by the way, speaking of Emerald and Mercury, those two make a perfect duo together, man. Like, the illusions of Emerald not really going to combat, she using her illusions, and then Mercury would just play complete control over that. He would take advantage of the illusions and would beat the crap out of anybody, which has been shown before in previous shows. Now, let's get on with Hazel. I think I understand who Hazel is now. Hazel is probably Hansel from Hansel and Gretel, which I believe. I think I could be wrong. But apparently, the reason why he is so angry with Ozpin was so petty. The reason, okay, I don't know, it's not petty. The reason why he was angry with him is understandable. It's understandable. But the reason why he joined Salem is petty as I don't know what. You're telling me you joined this ultimate evil just because your sister died in training. Just because your sister decided on her own will, at a young age, become a huntress to serve her kingdom, and she died in training. That is so petty. Like, and it's a disappointment too, but then again, it's also beautiful at the same time. And let me explain. We humans are very emotional, and we can switch our lives and moods at a flip of a switch like that. And it can be over some things to some people seem petty, but to them, it can be the most important thing to them in the whole entire freaking world. And that is the beauty of Hazel. His reason is so petty to join Salem's side, but yet again, it's perfect because that's what humans do sometimes. They let their emotions get the better of them so much to the point that they would just do the most ridiculous things that you would not expect them to do. So you would expect him reason of joining Salem and being angry at Ozpin would be much grander, but no, it's not. Not to us, but to him, it's everything. And because of that, it's the reason why it gave him enough edge to join Salem. So in a way, it's petty, but yet it works out so well, and a lot of people didn't agree on that. But that's just how human beings are. That's what makes him a good and real character. Which Hazel's becoming a really good character in the series, even though he didn't have much screen time. The stuff he has given is excellent compared to other characters like RWBY, who's been on it the whole entire time, not enough development at all, which is a shame. So anyways, turns out Hazel's sister was very young and she wanted to join Beacon to train. However, she died on a training mission. So he got angry and he joined Salem for revenge to kill Ozpin over and over again for retribution. But him getting angry at that is petty because it's like this. Imagine you're a dad or you're a brother and you have a daughter or sister that wants to go into the military to serve her country. You're worried about her because she is young, she's out of high school, but this is what she wants to do. She goes in with her free will, she trains, but something happens, and then she dies. Then now, seeing that situation, you are sad, and that's understandable, but will that really make you want to go to the dark side? Like, oh, I hate the government, they made my sister or daughter die because she died on her own free will. In a way, it's ridiculous, but stuff like that does happen, where people will blame and lash out on others for something that terrible happened in their lives. It happens a lot in life, and that's what's very realistic about this situation. Yes, I do think it's petty that Hazel is doing this, that he's reacting over about this, but at the end of the day, it was her choice, and it was beautiful made. Now, speaking of Lionheart, Lionheart is just trashy, man. This guy is trashy. He is a coward indeed. Like, you got smacked. You got pimp smacked by Oscar, a freaking novice for crying out loud, a noob. And he comes tumbling down the stairs and bumps into Hazel. And he says, "You made that child make a fool of you, man. Get your butt up, man." That child, you just whooped your butt. And he was just a kid. That's a shame. How long you been fighting? How long has he been fighting? You got your butt kicked by him? What is this, anime? To me, it was a funny moment. To me, it's the way Hazel did. Like, he just looked him straight in the eye, all serious. Like, you letting this kid make a fool of you, man. That's freaking embarrassing. Can you call yourself a man? Nope. And now, of course, we've seen Crow getting injured by Hazel bravely injured. Like, my goodness, Crow's just doing whatever he can to protect Ozpin. You can see the loyalty he has when it comes to serving Ozpin, and that's good, but also bad, because that could mean you're pretty much putting your life in danger a little too much. Maybe that because Crow doesn't have much to live for as he seems. He probably sees Ozpin and RWBY them as the only family he has left, since having his sister betray him like that, which does suck. So maybe that's why he's so clinged on to Ozpin like this. Now, let's talk about finally the main piece, delicious cream topping of this episode, was with Raven, Cinder, and Vernal. Ironically, I could never get Vernal's name right ever throughout this whole entire volume. I could not remember her name for anything. I would always get incorrectly all the time. But on the episode where she's about to die is where I remember her name. On the last episode where she's about to freaking die. I'm like, Vernal, oh wait, that's your name. Oh, I'm sorry, I just remembered your name. Vernal, are you okay? But tell you the truth, maybe I didn't remember her name that well because she wasn't that much of an interesting character. She was kind of bland and boring to me. There was nothing really interesting about her, and that's I have to say about a lot of the new characters that show up in this volume, where they just have potential, but they kind of did not stand out at all, which is kind of a shame. So they're down there inside of the basement area, and they're about to unlock to get the relic. But however, as we all know, Raven was about to betray Cinder, but then Cinder had other plans as well. Cinder's plans, my god, this girl is greedy for power. My goodness, Cinder. Like, it's something she wants. I mean, this girl wants. That she traps Raven, and then she goes out for the kill for Vernal. And they're like, I'm going to have your power. But guess what? There's no power. So the question is why? Turns out, the biggest twist of all time, Raven is the actual Spring Maiden. Holy crap. I did not see that coming. Now, once again, people said BS to this. But like, hold on. Save your BS rants just this moment. I have an explanation of why Raven is the Spring Maiden and why does Vernal have the powers of a Spring Maiden. It is obvious. Cinder. Cinder is the perfect example of this. As we all know, Cinder was not the original Fall Maiden. Somebody else was. But thanks to Cinder ambushing her, she was able to steal half of her power. And because of that, freaking Cinder was able to use the power. So, my theory is this. The power is passed down like All for One with All Might on Hero Academia. So, more than likely, the way Cinder stole the powers from the Fall Maiden was by force. I guess in order to share these powers with somebody else, it has to be willfully. Like, you have to do it on your own free will. However, you cannot take those powers unless you had what Cinder had. And because of that, she was able to steal his powers. And Cinder only had half those powers. And then by the end of Volume 3, she finally had full power by killing off the Fall Maiden once for all. She became the full-fledged Fall Maiden, even though she was not it originally. The same thing can go for Raven and Vernal. Raven probably shared some of the powers to Vernal in order to keep it as camouflage for the sake of the clan. But instead, she kept it. I think this was the real reason why Raven left. She was a Spring Maiden. She found out she was a Spring Maiden, and she left. And she ran away. She wanted nothing to do with this. She wanted nothing to do with Ozpin, nothing to do with Salem, because she gave the power to someone who was willing to do it for her. And Vernal seemed like a very loyal servant, and she was willing to do whatever she can for her. So therefore, she must have took the power on for her to cover it up as a disguise, as a distraction, so people would aim for her instead of Raven. It's very selfish, but yet again noble at the same time. It's for the sake of their clan, even though how trashy the clan is anyways. This is still their home. So at the end of the day, it made so much sense. Raven just shared the power. As of, if Cinder's able to steal the power, I'm pretty sure Raven is able to give it away as a Spring Maiden. So yes, so many questions, but I was able to answer them. Thank goodness. Because, oh man, I was thinking like up and down. Like, I had to think back on former episodes throughout the series in order to make my statement true. But I'm glad I did it, man. I am really glad. Because this episode had a lot of eyebrows raising and a lot of questions that I was luckily able to answer for you guys. And I appreciate that. Well, oh man, I'm already looking forward to next week, man. 14 minutes, and I can see why people also complain about the time length of the episodes now, and I did too. But then again, I found out they're doing 14 episodes this season, so I'm like, maybe that's the reason why. More episodes can mean less time limit on each episode, and I guess that's a good thing. Hopefully, maybe one day in the future, someday, Rooster Teeth will be able to make RWBY episodes last for 20 minutes each. Who knows? Probably they can, probably they won't. Either way, I am still enjoying the series for what it is. It's only getting better as time goes on. A lot of people complain about because Molly's gone, so the fighting scenes are lame and stuff. And I'm not getting on that topic no more, even though I brought it up. But yes, I enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys did too. This was very exciting and thrilling. And, man, it already got me hyped because so many things. Jaune's semblance, Hazel's understanding, and of course, Raven's big secret, man. So much happening in this episode, and I am so pleased. And I hope you guys are too. And if you guys like this episode, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll be much obliged. This is Madime, signing out.